Muslim men who are obsessed with masculinity, okay, like this so-called decline of manhood, how to be a real man, this trying to be alpha and so on, to be honest, seem to me like they are projecting their own insecurities about themselves onto the men of this ummah. First of all, Muslims railing against feminism on social media platforms do not know what kind of feminism that they are talking about. First wave feminism, second wave feminism, third wave feminism, each of which is distinct from the other. So what are they against? They don't know. Basically, they just don't like women complaining or asserting themselves too much, and they think that relations between men and women requires one to be stronger and the other weak. If the man is up, the woman must be down, and vice versa. Which really just means the man's strength is derived from the woman's relative weakness. And they call that being alpha. In other words, you can only be alpha if a woman allows you to be. That's a joke. But it is no surprise that they don't know what feminism is, because feminists don't either. The original feminist movements started off as a struggle for legal and employment rights, the right for women to take risks and take chances for themselves and to be able to live independently and to face the consequences of those choices themselves. The new incarnation of feminism, however, treats women like they're little, delicate little flowers. You know, it infantilizes women. It treats women like they have no accountability or responsibility. For example, okay, if a woman decides to go and enter a room and be in seclusion with a man, right? Anything and everything that happens in the room is entirely the man's responsibility and not hers. Okay, but back in the day, the original feminists, they knew how to say no, they knew how to take action. But feminists, third wave feminists today, are weak and do not have any responsibility or accountability for their actions. But that was not what the original feminist movement was about. It's about accountability. It's about living independently. So therefore, I don't see why any misogynist men would have a problem with third wave feminism, really, because they both infantilize women. It is tantamount to the male guardianship laws in the Middle East. There's a lot to get into here, like how Muslims really need to spend less time on social media because it really does distort your sense of reality, and we get involved in discussions that are peculiar to the West and that has nothing to do with us. And I won't get into that right now. So in my opinion, both sides of the debate are missing the point. It's two blind people fighting over reading glasses. The Muslim men, okay, who are anti-feminists are really just mad at women who do not conform to the submissive model that they need in order to feel manly. And the women, the Muslim women who identify themselves as feminists are very often adopting a Western liberal attitude that has never successfully made anyone or any society genuinely fulfilled or happy. Both sides are wasting their time and energy. For the LGBT issue and how it relates to feminism, well, it turns out that the LGBT movement is very profoundly anti-woman, because if you look at the trans agenda, it seeks to nullify any meaningful definition of what a woman even is. No doubt that the LGBT movement could not have advanced had it not been as a result of men trying to over-accommodate women who are endlessly and thoughtlessly harping on empathy, tolerance, compassion, and for men to be in touch with their feminine side and so on. Men really dropped the ball on that one. But these are Western issues that we are needlessly imposing onto the Muslim community. I do not see a crisis of masculinity in the Muslim world, Alhamdulillah. In fact, I do not see it in most of the non-Western world. Have you heard what the African leaders have had to say about the LGBT issues? The world over, okay, Muslim men are regarded as the epitome of good old-fashioned, no-frills masculinity, actual masculinity, okay, not the archetypical Hollywood macho action hero type, understand? Or the pseudoscience fake notion of alpha male. And that is the kind of Muslim men most Muslim women want, and that's the kind of Muslim men most Muslim women marry, and the kind of Muslim boys they raise. Muslim men who are obsessed with masculinity, okay, like this so-called decline of manhood, how to be a real man, this trying to be alpha and so on. To be honest, seem to me like they are projecting their own insecurities about themselves onto the men of this ummah. They were probably bullied or something, and they are constantly trying to prove their manliness by, riding horses, motorcycles, pretending to be fighters, and other such displays of adolescent bravado. None of these things are what makes a man, okay? Just as knitting or sewing or cooking don't make you not a man. Allah said, men are qawwam. He didn't say that they ought to be, or they should be, or they can be, or that women should sit down and shut up so that they can make men qawwam. No. So being qawwam isn't aspirational. It's what men are. Allah said that they are qawwam, so they are. They are either good at it or bad at it, and that's on them. You don't get to blame women or blame feminists or blame gays if you are bad at being qawwam. That's just the lonely nature of male responsibility. And maybe that's part of the reason why the mountains, the heavens, and the earth all refused to take the amanah, but men took it. We can't make men feminine. We can't make men lazy. We can't make them defer to us. We can't impose our will on them. Okay, and that's because men just are qawwam. We can complain, nag, and criticize, and sometimes we're right and sometimes we're wrong. But it's on you to figure out what is best. And sometimes our input helps with that, and sometimes it interferes with it. But we are under no obligation to sit in silence. The Ummahatul Mu'minin did not do that. And they were better than us, and their husband better than you. So no excuses. It's not your testosterone, your muscles, the loudness of your voice, or your obnoxiousness, or by dominating women that makes you a man. And it's not feminists or LGBT or knitting that makes you unmanly. Follow Allah and His Messenger and follow the guidance. Take being qawwam seriously. Serve and protect your family like a shepherd with his flock. And that's what makes you a man.